Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad that that's the way they have to think about it?
Yes, yes. Talk about patient care coming first. That's
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we're all set.
we're fortunate like those are reimbursed, they replace down.
Okay, folks, we'll start the meeting here with a roll call.
Alrighty, Delaware County, Mr. Early is excused. Lou Jones.
Yes, sir.
Pat Delameter.
Here.
Steve Hood.
Here.
Hey, Gold Star, almost. Fulton County, Bonnie Lumen.
Here.
Jack Farquhar.
Here.
Howard Hahn.
Here.
Don Coy.
Here.
Hamilton County, Cindy Dunham is excused. Joyce Malidi.
Here.
Bill Malidi, present. Al Dunham is an alternate. Gary Wicks.
Here.
Okay. Montgomery County, Tom Pasquarelli is excused. Mickey Swartz.
Here.
Trish Green.
Here.
Jared Gilson. Otsego County, Sid Chase.
Here.
Brian Knapp.
Here.
Jane Puppin.
Here.
Dana Wygand, I guess he's working today. Rich Kirschman.
Here.
Okay. Schoharie County, Bill Averill.
Here.
Ed Brand.
Is excused working.
Gotcha. Mark Zeke is excused. Poor devil is in the Southland. I told him we sympathize fully. And Dr. Leinhardt is excused, and sir, we have a quorum.
Good. Got the minutes from our last month's meeting. Everyone get a copy of the minutes?
Just a tiny little change in the minutes. Beth McGowan noted in an email to me that she was incorrectly listed as a guest representing JVAC. No offense whatsoever to JVAC. She requested to be properly changed to CMT. So I would present that amendment to the minutes.
Okay. Everyone understands the amendment, the motion to approve.
Approve as amended.
Motion's made to approve as amended. Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Okay, we have some guests.
We have a bunch of guests today, which is great. Rich Ruther is from Remo, welcome. Lonnie Bertman from JVAC. Jill Dunham from ASFC. Deb Cups from HVCC. Tony Agresta from AFD. You see a pattern here. Beth McGowan and Desiree Kurtzman are from CMT. Mary Ramo is from, where are you from, Mary?
DOH.
DOH, there you go. Why didn't I think of that?
There's nobody here from IRS, right?
Did I leave anybody out?
CIA.
CIA, right? Only the CIA.
General Petraeus here.
Yeah, General Petraeus, he's not admitting it anymore, right? And, okay, welcome to one and all here.
Welcome to everyone. Correspondence, everyone get a copy of correspondence? I'm surprised, it's kind of short this time, but
Not too bad.
not bad. Any questions or concerns regarding correspondence? I do not have a report. We'll read in the secretary's report.
Okay, I have a very short report today. On November 8th, we received a notice, supposedly, it's in our office, supposedly from Frontier Communications, which is our local telephone provider, advising that our office email account needed to be updated and requesting certain information, including our passwords. A phone call to Frontier at their business office confirmed that this was a scam. I kind of figured it was, but I wanted to confirm it. And they advised us to please be very cautious, and I'm passing this on to everybody. If it seems to be from Frontier Communications, or in the case of cell phones from Verizon Wireless or whoever, no communications company will request your information and passwords via an email. They just won't do it. So if you get that in the email, delete it and get out of the deleted folder so you don't accidentally click on the links that they put in. The Trauma Teaching Day, I'm going to let Joyce report on that under training committee. It was held on November 3rd, and 71 people attended, our largest crowd ever. 71 people. The Holiday Inn banquet manager, whom I spoke to yesterday, I call her routinely before our monthly meetings. I complimented her on how nicely things were set up, and she said, "What did you do?" And she said, "You paid right away." And I chuckled and I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, I thought it was a state grant." I said, "If it was a state grant, we'd be still waiting, till sometime next 4th of July." No, it was money that we raised. The EMT intranasal demonstration project is proceeding in the region. Supplies of training materials have been distributed to Fulton, Montgomery, and Delaware counties. I have Schoharie and Otsego County supplies here today. And that we have no enforcement actions this month. And that serves my report.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Treasurer's report?
Really, and nothing to well, I'll give you just a quick, you'll get a kick out of this. As of September 4th, the Department of Health was up to date in payments due to the region. On October 3rd, we submitted to Lisa DeLong the council quarterly deliverables for the period from July through September 30th, together with a voucher in the amount of $5826.36 for the council and $43,891.82 for the program. On November 9th, I inquired of her as to the payment status, because it's due right now. I have not yet received a reply. She said she's looking into it. So now we're at that time in the quarter when I have to be increasingly aggressive in finding out where our money is. That's so we can get it. That's as my report. A printed report of the cash flow and balance sheet was distributed. It's available here. Lou and Howard and Sid received a detailed cash flow balance sheet and register report, plus copies of our canceled checks, which we now have to make available to the committee, as per the auditor's review arrangements, and I wait their report.
We found everything to be satisfactory?
Okay, that's the report, sir.
Yep.
Motion?
So moved.
Have a motion made to approve the minutes and seconded.
With that, John?
Approve minutes as presented, report as presented. All those in favor, show by saying aye. Any opposed or abstained?
Joyce and I will abstain.
Okay. Committee reports?
Program Agency Committee has nothing to report. Holding our own.
Training.
Yeah, we, as Phil said, had a great teaching day, trauma teaching day. Steve Anderson did presentation on major trauma and burns in the afternoon. Deb Cuffs did a great presentation on the pathophysiology of hypoperfusion, and I thought it was excellent. It was, I think, could be well understood by basic EMTs and so forth. So had really good evaluations. There were just a couple people that didn't like the lunch. There was a couple people that loved the lunch. It was one of those. So
A couple of people said the room was too cool. A couple of people said it was too hot.
it was, you know, anyway, there were a couple suggestions for future teaching days, but they were all ones that we had done before. There were several, said MCI, which we did already last year actually. There were several that said pediatrics, so I didn't really get any really deep new ideas as far as that's concerned. I think it went very well. We had 79 signed up to come and 71 came. The other thing as far as training, there's two other things. One is, where did that, I was sending something around the table on...
Hang on a second, I think I have it here. Yes, here it is. Did you pass that?
That's right.
Oh.
I'll go through this first.
Do you have a copy for
We
yourself?
have received... huh?
Do you have a copy of this for yourself?
No, that's what I was sending around.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I think I might have some.
We have received $2,999 in a grant from the Emergency Medical Services for Children program, and it is to fund two PEP, that's pre-hospital education for pre-hospital, pediatric education for pre-hospital providers. We are planning to do that, one in the northern three counties, and I picked Johnstown for sort of a midpoint. It's not quite mid for Hamilton County, but midpoint would probably be downtown Wells or something if we actually picked the midpoint. But we're going to have one in Johnstown. That will probably be on February 16th. It's a Saturday. The other one in the southern three counties we will do sometime probably in January, I would think. And that will be in the Oneonta area. And I was mistaken this morning. We got a grant for half of the textbook. The textbook cost $50. So we got a grant, the grant covers half of the student textbooks. So that would be $25, so the tuition, I presume, will be around $25. we can accommodate 24 people in each course. So when the flyers go out, the first 25 to, or 24 to enroll in each one will be accepted. And so as soon as I get details and the actual dates and the places and so forth, I'll send that flyer out. The other thing that we have been contacted about, this is from a Greg Viss, who owns Hudson Simulation Services. This is he's doing a rural EMS research project, and is currently working with the Mountain Lakes region to provide in-service education using pretty sophisticated training mannequins and simulation mannequins. And what he is proposing to do, and he would like to talk to me, and I wanted to present this to you. He would like to choose 30 to 40 agencies from the AAREMS region. That would be done randomly. And those 30 to 40 agencies would receive 2 to 4 training sessions over a 15-month period using high-fidelity simulators, which he has an adult male, adult female, an 8-year-old, and an 18-month-old. And they would travel, they would bring their own faculty, they would travel to the agency, no reimbursement from the agency whatsoever. They would do some testing to measure improvements before and after, after the training, and so forth. The agency would have they would get their wish as far as what type of training, like OB or PEDS, trauma, medical, and so forth. So he'd like to do that, and it sounds like a fantastic opportunity for us. The agencies that aren't chosen randomly, they would provide several training sessions within each county over the period of time, so that anybody from any agency would be invited to. So at this point, everybody this morning seemed very favorable, and I would propose that I talk to him and that we try to set this up. Does anybody have any thoughts on it? And if anybody that didn't see this would like to...
As we understand it, apparently the agencies where they're going to go right to the agency location, the individual agency location, they're going to be chosen randomly, almost like a computer sort.
Right, like a...
It is, that's exactly how he does it.
Is that, okay. Yeah.
We've been dealing with this, Mountain Lakes has done it, they've had great success. And what they did was, because the study is so focused and delineated, then they opened it up to a Saturday where they just let all the agencies come and play with the mannequins, get signed off if you need it for your skill sheet for that day, because they do bring their own staff of CICs. Usually they don't need any outside instructors. That's a common question that came up in the other region. Because they have their own, they keep it consistent for scientific purposes.
And they are New York State certified instructors?
Yes, they are.
CSEs or CLLs.
Is there a,
Yeah, yes, almost, it does. It does
because
sound too good to be true.
it's a study, is there a minimum number that he needs per,
No, they have it
Per
all
random.
figured out.
Per agency? Or...
I mean, yeah, per agency, because I mean, he could choose an agency in Delaware County and have 2 certified people.
Exactly, same thing.
No, and he would look at that. I mean, he goes through and if they have to eliminate it, they will go on, but they have their own process in place.
Okay.
It's not like you can call up and say, hey, Greg, can you pick Delhi over Sydney because Sydney has 3 and we've got 30.
Right.
It all depends on how the computer spits it
It
out.
just seems like it would be a waste of time. It would skew his
And if you
results.
look at where the information is going to, it's the agricultural, which is rural, they're
Right.
used to these low numbers.
Yes, the Department of Agriculture which is funding this.
So, and that's why it was initially started up there, it's easier to get more contiguous agriculturally rated counties and.
Apparently they're looking for regions that are designated either rural and or frontier. And
He called me
Hamilton
up and
County
said, I
is
thought of you guys
designated
right
frontier.
away.
I believe Hamilton County is the only designated frontier county east of the Mississippi.
I
So,
believe it is, yeah.
Anyway, we will,
We'll have that Daniel look
Yeah.
about it.
we'll bring him up to the frontier, I can tell you. All right, so I'll do that.
Hence the internet provider, you know?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's it at this point, as far as I can.
We'll keep everybody fully in the loop, of course, on this training initiative. It does, Gary just said that, and I said it when I first heard about it. I got off the phone with the guy, I said, this is too good to be true, there's gotta be a hook in there somewhere. And I asked him, I said, would you mind putting it in writing to me before our meeting today? And he did, he laid the whole thing out, and of course Mary is familiar with the program.
And he's a very personable guy.
Very
He's
nice.
also very good at writing grants where someone,
He must be.
he's
Yeah.
phenomenal at it.
He must be, yeah.
He helped develop these mannequins with the military. These
Wow.
they cry, they breathe,
Oh, wow.
I think they puke.
Are these the same type of mannequins that Air Method uses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he a salesman of the mannequins?
His company makes them, yes, but he's not doing this to sell the mannequins. This is purely a scientific, you know those people that are so brilliant that they can't tie their own shoes and you just wonder what they're doing? He's one of those type of people. I don't know how to put it otherwise.
Right.
But he's one of these people that's so smart, it's like, why are you doing this?
I know the mannequins are
Hudson
really
Valley.
cool. Sit there and watch when people dilate and constrict.
Really?
Hudson Valley has contracted with him to rent some of these mannequins. We're not part of any of the study, so I can't comment on that. But he's been very above board. He's done exactly what we've agreed to do. It's been in a timely manner. There's been no difficulties that we've experienced with him at all.
I think Howard is dealing with him, Howard Youth is dealing with him in some format also for the paramedic program there, if I'm not mistaken. Howard mentioned something in an email a month or so ago about some training mannequins. That must be the same operation.
Well, there's basically two, I don't know, there's two operations that deal with these mannequins.
Oh,
And I can't remember the name of the other one.
oh, okay.
Put on your budget, see if I do.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
So, oh, here it says, Howard Youth will be helping with the training curriculum and instructors, so apparently in this region he'll be helping with, yeah.
I know in Mountain Lakes they use Bob Elling and some of those folks up there. So,
So he wants to come to Speculator, so I'll ask him to Speculator in the middle of the winter to the
Okay.
Frontier County.
Oh, he has a
He would
frontier
like-
outfit, we'll satisfy him. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Joyce. Transportation standards.
Okay, on October 23rd, I sent information to the gal who's the new captain of the Sharon Springs Rescue Squad relative to the certificate of need process. If you remember last month, we talked about that. We hadn't heard from them in 16 months. And she called up saying she had just been given the responsibility of following up on this. She had no idea at the time, and it was her fault, because she had no idea what a CON process was. So I sent her full information on this, including a copy of the state's policy on CONs, which runs around 30 pages. Now, this was sent by certified mail on the 23rd of October. Yesterday, I received a phone call from her, again apologetic, saying she had only just that day received my letter from the fire company. Now, this was a letter addressed to her by certified mail. Actually, it wasn't a letter, it was a big envelope. And she said they held it until yesterday.
Probably until a meeting.
But yeah, it could well be. But she said she was very apologetic. She had just received the mailing, and even though it had been signed for appropriately and so forth, they held on to it. In any event, she wanted us to know of her interest in this, and she said she was going to read through the material. She assured us of her cooperation. I'll be perfectly honest with you, she sounds like a lovely person, and I said we can certainly count on her cooperation. I'm not entirely sure whose cooperation she can count on at her end. And I say that for the camera because they held this for 3 weeks. They held a certified letter up, a certified mailing up. So in any event, I'll keep everybody advised. At this time, I would like to make a motion that, so we have it on the record, that our fee of $5,000 for every certificate of need process be made non-refundable as of this date. Virtually all the regions, according to Joe Farrell, we're the only region that says we'll give you back any money that's left over. I think for reasons of follow-through, if not for other directly financial reasons, we should have a policy that the $5,000 fee that's supposed to accompany the application be non-refundable for any applications received after this date. And I would like to make that in the form of a motion.
We have a second? Second, Pat.
Yeah? Okay.
Everyone understands the motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed or abstained? Okay.
I think, I was talking to Phil about this, I said, I think if you add staff time into that, what we,
Right. We don't need a motion for that.
we,
because-
I know, but what we're not doing is adding staff time
Right.
into the mix there, but if
We
you
already have
did, we are well over the 5,000 that we're,
Yeah,
That's
we have a policy in place that, goes back a number of years, that as far as CON expenses, the council is the sole decider on what is a valid expense for that CON process. And in fact, what we do is we bill as part of the expense any meeting at which any action is taken on a CON application, because if we didn't do that, we'd have to have a special meeting and we'd still come to the same thing.
Phil, how would it get handled if there was basically due to whatever that the expenses were more than 5,000?
We bill them for the overage. That's what we have done.
And then-
We've had occasion to do that twice. Once we received a check almost by return mail, and the second time, the first time was the Oneonta Fire Department. We heard nothing from them after repeated billing. The second time was for Richmondville. We received a check for the overage right away. So we sent, of course, we sent a detailed list of the expenses each time.
Do we know what the neighboring agencies or councils charge for, I mean, are we in the same ballpark?
I'll give you, I was just gonna, and Mary can attest to this, Remo's is $7,000 a CON.
Transfers are different though, aren't they?
What's that? Transfers is no charge, as far as I understand. There's no fee. But a regular CON process, the application to the REMAC, it's $7,000 per application. I know that from experience, so.
I believe AAREMS is 75.
Yeah, I think they're a little
okay.
low,
So yeah, 5,000 is a little bit on the low side,
We
but
go from that.
and I think Mid-States is even higher, if I'm not
Let's worry
mistaken.
about it. There's two lawyers.
I don't know if the agencies can afford that much money or not. I mean, it's good to stay, if you stay on the same path as everybody else.
So
Is,
are the regions all non-for-profit?
Yes. Yes. They're all 501c3s, yeah, all contractors with the state.
So wouldn't all the agencies be required to give the money back then if they didn't?
No, no. No, I know there's all kinds of technicalities there, but a non-for-profit agency doesn't have to give anything back, no.
Just to cover their expenses.
Yeah, cover expenses reasonably, and
Does $5,000 cover it?
$5,000 is covering it so far, yes. It's covering it so
Without
far.
taking into account Joyce and Phil's time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, of course, our time is paid under a different, slot on our.
Well, that's what I'm saying, isn't that part of our deliverables to process and?
I think what Joyce was referring to was kind of time after hours, if you will. Because
Oh,
sometimes-
I don't doubt that there is,
Yeah.
but I don't want to, if the state audits and comes in and says, well, you're double billing, you're billing them for your time plus your deliverables.
That would be true if we were actually billing for hours of staff time, which we've never done. We've never included that.
I think it's, we should bill at cost, basically. And if 5,000 is adequate, fine. If you think that we'll get to the point where it's more than 5,000, I think now would be a time to increase it, along with the policy of no refund.
Rich, what is the policy on transfer of operating authority? Just know.
I'll tell you, I just went through one that actually they rejected because it wasn't a transfer. It wasn't possible to go through, but Jim Regan, I don't know if you know him or not, he's on the CON committee. You can probably call him and ask him for sure.
Okay.
My understanding is there's no charge for transfers because it's pretty much a quick procedure. You fill out the paperwork, the CON committee meets, they either approve it or disapprove it at a REMAC meeting.
Mm.
The problem is that the CON process, you got a public hearing,
Right.
you've got a lot of stenographer, you
Yes.
have other expenses.
Yeah.
Certified.
My understanding, and I'm waiting to see this myself, but I know that Remo supposedly, at one point, maybe you would know this, Mary, they said that if there was extra money, they may consider refunding it to the agency if there's extra, like a lot of extra money left over.
Mm.
But it's $7,000 per application, and usually, my understanding in talking to Tim is that a lot of the expenses of just handling everything legally
Right,
is eaten up by that.
yes.
So,
No question, yeah.
And every application, no matter if there's 2 or 3 CON applications, they're all $7,000 apiece.
Mhm.
So, you know, whatever fees that, you know, incurs, it's all included. I'm sure they probably, I think Remo, you'd have to ask Tim about it specifically, but I don't believe there's a charge for the transfer. Is there, Mary? There isn't, is there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a quick and dirty.
Right, I don't know that we've ever had a transfer procedure where we didn't have to send letters out and all the rest of it, you know. I don't know that we have.
We had the rural metro one.
Yeah, that was a very unusual, that was statewide, that was a
Yeah,
very
that was a transfer.
Yeah, yes it was, yeah.
And that also came with specific directions though on how to handle that.
Yeah, it did, and we billed, we were told to do so, we were billed, we said, the state said you could bill up to $3,000, which we did. And that was nothing but just a couple of letters written, really. That was most unusual.
Well, I think, didn't we have when Response Ambulance was bought by Rural Metro?
That goes back
It was
just
quite a
little-
while ago.
That goes back just a little way, 82, 83.
Oh, that was a long time.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying it was a transfer.
that was a transfer, but there was nothing painless about that, as I recall. Including the chair I had testimony for the administrative law judge. That was a very complicated transfer, as I remember. Yeah. I don't remember too many details. Time blurs these things, but I don't remember too many details.
Okay, anything else?
No, I don't have anything else right now.
Okay, state council, there's nothing, right?
No, Mark is excused. The next meeting is in January, I believe, of the state council, and they don't know beyond that. They don't really know what's going to happen.
Okay. Program update for regional program directors.
Meeting? No, there was no meeting. Won't be any now until the state council meets.
Any other program updates?
Nothing to report.
REMAC?
REMAC report. Dr. Leinhardt has an excused absence today because he had to work at Little Falls Hospital. So excuse me if I may, I'll just give a synopsis of the REMAC actions this morning. The REMAC physicians approved a new medical director for the Masonville squad. And Beth was kind enough to, using one of those extraordinary smartphones that I don't own one of yet, or doesn't own me yet, she was able to look up the curriculum vitae of the particular doctor. The REMAC docs this morning asked, and the squad submit a resume for this gentleman. She looked it up, it's all online. So they have been approved. Request from Northampton to provide paramedic level of service, that was approved. They now have a paramedic on their staff, and congratulations to them. The Franklin Agency has resumed BLS level of service. That was presented just as an informational note. GAVAC requested a discussion on stroke-centered transport destinations. Tom unfortunately could not be here at the last minute today, had to work elsewhere. So Trish led a little discussion on this, and it was a very good discussion. We're going to carry this forward to the January meeting of the REMAC also. At the present time, the general discussion boiled down to, if you have a recent stroke victim, contact medical control about your destination. If there is a kind of a toss-up, there's a 2-hour window noted in our collaborative protocols. For some of us, that's a no-brainer. Those of us in Hamilton County, there's no way we could get to a stroke center 2 hours after the onset of symptoms, just no way at all. In which case, you go to the nearest appropriate hospital. But the doctor suggested that medical control be, if there's a question about getting anywhere within the 2-hour window, just discuss it with medical control and let them make a decision for you. We gave a little update on the EMT intranasal Narcan demonstration program that I just presented to you before. That is proceeding apparently a galloping speed in the Remo area. Elsewhere, I don't know. Maybe Rich could.
Then they get a report every time somebody uses it,
Mhm.
and I know Dr. Daly said that it's actually, there's other areas like Long Island, other parts of New York State that have adopted it, that
Mhm.
they didn't intentionally try to sell it to them, but they're using it now primarily,
Right.
especially in specific pockets that have a big narcotic opiate overdose
Right.
history, and it's working well. We've got, I think there's a few agencies that are using it in Remo that are,
See, there you go right away, because as we all know, our region has absolutely no history of opiate overdose whatsoever, so hell in the day. If you believe that, we'll talk about bridges for sale elsewhere. But in any event, the paperwork, there's quite a bit of paperwork that's sent up. Nobody seems to know. I'll take just a second to digress a little bit. Among the materials I got for the intranasal program, nobody seems to know why I have a big box of little zipper envelopes which contain a pair of gloves and a pocket mask. I have no idea why, and not nearly enough to go around. So I'm giving out a small quantity with each.
Maybe
count.
when you give them the Narcan, they sneeze.
Maybe that's it. That's it. In any event, little by little, we're going to get up and going. The materials that are delivered to each county include a pre-test, a post-test, a participant's manual, an instructor manual for each of the instructors, obviously, and a supply of Narcan for demonstration purposes, some of which is already time expired. It was time expired a year ago, June, and I didn't receive this until this summer. We couldn't act on it actively over the summer because of our terrible financial crisis that we faced, that we all faced. Oh, and by the way, I'll digress for just a second. I should have mentioned this under regional business. The North Country region, the Central New York region, pardon me, has had to close its doors because they have not received the vouchers that we received. We got payment for in August. These are the March vouchers, last March. They still haven't received any, so she sent a note around saying that they had to close their doors until more money came.
They may have opened back up yesterday.
Ah, good. That's good news. That's good news. Nobody seems to know why this money's being sat on by DOH folks. It's not the EMS Bureau. The EMS Bureau is moving heaven and earth just like we all are to try to get timely payments. It's up further up the chain. We had no updates on the narrow banding, FCC narrow banding mandate. No updates on any protocol feedback or any changes for the future. And we had a short executive session discussing personnel issues. And that was the REMAC report.
Okay, very good, thank you. County reports, Delaware?
Business as usual.
Seago?
Otsego is actively looking for someone to teach a critical care course. We've got about 40 people who responded who said they would like to be included in it. So 40 students, potential students. So we're about looking for an instructor.
Okay. Mr. Harry?
Business as usual, nothing new to report. I can think of.
Montgomery?
GAVAC's going to have an 8-hour marathon day on the 19th. It'll include domestic violence and child abuse. One of the guest speakers is going to be Colina Richards, who is a senior attorney for the New York State Office of Children and Family Services, who's apparently litigated over 8,000 child abuse cases. So seating's limited to 25, so if you'd like to come, call GAVAC and just reserve a seat. It's free.
Date again, thank you.
November 19th.
It's on our website also.
Is it?
It started at 8 a.m. and should end about 5 o'clock.
The contact phone number is on our website on the education page.
Okay, thank you. Fulton?
Same old, same old.
Hamilton?
Getting colder and we're thinking about putting our studs on.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Pretty soon the Bears will be asleep.
racing.
Any old business? Old business, any new business? I was gonna ask Mary, and I forgot when I said I didn't have a report. What was the outcome as far as the vital signs? What was the total attendance?
Around 1,600.
I was gonna say, to me, it didn't look like it was attended as well as they have been in the past.
I can say that for the first time ever, by the time Saturday was over, we were down to less than one box of people that did not pick up their paperwork. Which is usually we've got like 6 boxes of people that sign up, pay. So those that signed up showed,
Yeah.
which was impressive. Next year is in Buffalo, and it's a week later next year.
Okay. Great. Any other new business? Now, a motion for adjournment? So moved.
5.
Wow.
Next meeting will be Thursday, the 20th of December, right here.
Yeah, you all have a nice Thanksgiving?
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Safe trip home.
If anybody hasn't gotten their turkey yet, we got to take care of it a little far away.
Like some more information that we can gather together and
Yeah.